guys, welcome back. For those who are new here, my name is Michelle. So today's big question is, are you in line? Most especially with the standards of God that have been set through His Word. And as usual, I have written a letter to address this. So here it goes. Are you in line? I want to ask you a question today. Not to condemn you, but to awaken you. If God were to measure your life with His plumb line, how straight would your wall be? In the book of Amos 7, verse 7 to 8, the Lord shows the prophet a vision of a plumb line set in the midst of His people. A plumb line is used to measure whether a wall is straight. And here is the part that grips me every time. The plumb line does not adjust to the wall. The wall adjusts to the line. God has a standard. And many times, without realizing it, we measure ourselves according to the standards of this world. But the systems of this world were never designed to align us with God. John 10:10 says, "The thief comes to steal, kill, and to destroy." The world's patterns are not neutral. They are contrary, and their end is death. That is why Romans 12:2 urges us not to conform to the pattern of this world, but to be transformed by the renewing of our minds, so that we can test and approve what God's will is. This means there's a standard that opposes the culture around us. I would like us to use a few examples to help us measure ourselves honestly. Let's start with character. What does the word say? In Romans 5, verse 3 to 4, it says, "We are told that suffering produces perseverance, perseverance character, and character hope." According to God's standard, character is not built in comfort. It is built in endurance. Yet the world has devised ways for us to avoid discomfort, to escape pressure, to choose what is easy. But if you run from every hard season, how will your character stand straight? Let's go to love. Jesus says in John 15, verse 13, that greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friend. God measures love by sacrifice. The world measures love by feeling, convenience, and personal benefit. But God asks a deeper question. Can you lay yourself down? And joy. James 1:2 tells us to count it all joy when we face trials. According to God's plumb line, joy is not the absence of problem, it is stability in the middle of them. The world says joy is comfort and ease. God says joy is trust under pressure. And lastly, greatness. Jesus declares in Matthew 23:11 that the greatest among you will be your servant. The world says greatness is position, influence, applause, and power. God says greatness is service to another, especially when no one is watching. So do you see it? The standards are opposite. You cannot measure yourself by both. The plumb line of God's word will never bend to culture. It will not shift for trends. It will not adjust for convenience. It remains straight, steady, and unchanging. When God drops the plumb line, it is not to destroy. It is to reveal what needs realignment. He measures because He desires restoration. He corrects because He loves. So today I leave you with this reflection. If God were to measure your life according to His standard, not comparison, not popularity, not the approval of men, how straight would your wall be? Where are you leaning? What needs adjustment? My prayer is that we will have the humility and willingness to shift when the plumb line exposes us. May we choose His standard over the world's applause, and may our lives stand straight before Him. See you next week. God bless you.